Hi, this is Tom Boyk, Lead Teacher for Technology for District 33. And in this video, I want to show you how to run reports for map testing results, and I also want to show you the different report options that are available to you. So, to access the map site, you're going to go to our website, www.wego33.org, and you're going to hover over Staff, and one of the options is map testing. So go ahead and click on that link. That will take you to our link to the map testing site. One little thing, if you have forgotten your username or your password, there's that link right below the password box that'll help you recover your username and your password. So let's go ahead and log in. Now on this screen you're going to notice that mine looks a little different, and that is because I have the administrative access. And that'll also come into play when we start running reports, but I'll mention that. So when you click on View Reports and Instructional Resources, you're going to get three different links. You're going to get the Map Reports link, the Reports queue, and the Instructional Resources. For the sake of this video, I'm just going to cover Map Reports and Reports queue. This third piece, the Instructional Resources, is a whole nother video, which I'll create. So let's look at Map Reports. When you click on Map Reports, you're going to see a whole lot of text. Let me kind of break it down what you're seeing. Right here at the top are links to the different reports that you can run. This information center is just like it says. It's just resources, research, online training for map reports. Over here is your reports queue, which is something that I will explain later. And down here is your student quick search. So, the first report I want to show you is the Achievement and Status Growth Report. If I was going to categorize this report, I would say this is the most basic of reports, because all you're going to get from this report is you're going to get the student list, your class list, and your class results. There's going to be no type of breaking down of information. So let me show you how to run this basic report. And this is, I mentioned something earlier about how I have the system administrator access. So this is where my window slightly looks different than yours, but not that much. First, you're going to want to enter term roster. If you've proctored tests before, make sure you've selected fall 2013-2014. Term tested, fall 2013-2014. School, this is where you might just have one school listed. So I'm going to use, for example, the middle school. And then when you click on your school, it's going to pop up a list of instructors. Again, you should probably only see yourself. But for the sake of this video, I'm going to use Mrs. Deneen's class. Mrs. Deneen teaches 5 different sections, so I'm going to choose one of her sections. Elementary, you probably only have 1 or 2 sections listed. Down here is where you can start to kind of modify your report. You can see that there's a growth comparison period, and what that is MAP will actually project what that student's next MAP score should be, or what the student's MAP score should be at the end of the school year. This is really an option you can choose. If you're interested in grouping by gender or ethnicity, you can do that here. Alright, so we've selected the report, we've selected the school, we've selected the teacher, we've selected the class. We've done all that. Now we're ready to run the report. So down here you can see it says Create Report. After you click Create Report, a little dialog box will pop up right at the top. It says your report will display in a moment. If this does not happen, click here to try again. And the reason why it says this is because obviously MAP is a web-based piece of software. So depending on how much usage MAP is experiencing, your report might take a little time to run. But most of the time that I've done this, it pops up within a few seconds. Now if it does not happen, you can click here to try again. This is an example of an achievement status and growth projection report, and I've actually used my window right here to block out the student names and the ID in an effort to maintain student privacy. But what you'll see on this report, like I said, is the most basic of information. You're going to be looking at the RIT, which is the map score. You're going to see the standard error, and the standard error is a way for you as the instructor to see if a student was simply clicking real fast through the test. And so if you see, you can see a lot of these numbers are 2.8, 3.0. If you start seeing numbers like 8, 13, that's when you know that that student did not give their full effort. And then over here is the projected RIT for the, or map score for the winter. So that is the Achievement Status and Growth Projection Report. So now that we've run the Achievement Status and Growth Report, I'd like to show you another report. So go ahead and click back on Map Reports. The second report that I'm going to show you is the Class Breakdown Report. Whereas the first one was kind of a basic report. This one begins to use the data to sort students into groups. So what this class breakdown report is going to do is it's going to give you a grid of RIT scores, and then it's going to place students into a group based on their RIT score. So let me show you how to run this report. Again, you're going to want to pay attention to term rostered and term tested to make sure you're looking at the right piece of data. You're going to select the school that you work at. From the instructor list, you select your name, and then you select which class you'd like to display data from. Now you'll get, once you select all that, you're going to get one last option, and this is how the class breakdown is going to be done. So RIT is the map testing score. Goal is referring to the subcategories of the test, and then projected proficiency. So I'm going to show you RIT. So I've selected the term roster, term tested, school, instructor, class, and report options. So now I'm ready to create the report. So what you see here is the class breakdown by RIT. As I said, you get both math and reading, and then you get the overall score. So 161 to 170, 171 to 180, and so on. And what the report's going to show you is it's going to put the students into the range that they scored within. So if you're creating groups based on the map scores, this will give you an idea of where the students fall. If you're interested in downloading a PDF of this file, you can click right here where it says Create PDF. And that gives you the option to save this report to your hard drive. And that's the class breakdown by RIT. If you click on the Map Reports link to the left, you'll be returned to the Map Reports main page. The next report I want to run is the class report. Now this report is very similar to the class breakdown in that it's going to create categories based on your students' map testing scores. So let me show you what this report looks like. Again, I'm going to select term rostered, term tested, select the school that I work at. I'm going to use Mrs. Deneen for an example. I'm going to select my class, and then you have these options at the bottom to sort by student name, by RIT score, by gender, by ethnicity. I'm simply just going to create a report. This report's a little more data heavy, so it may take longer to run this report than the other reports I've showed you so far. Now you'll notice that instead of seeing the reports, I actually am seeing the reports queue. So I'm going to go ahead and explain that now. The reports queue is a way to look at the history of reports that you have run. You can see that I ran 2 reports this morning at 7:18, 7:27. I ran the Achievement Status and Growth Report, the class report. It also shows me that I've run the Achievement Status and Growth Report just recently, and that I just ran the class report. So if you're interested in downloading a PDF of any of the reports that you've run, you're going to click on the Reports queue to the side, and then you'll see all of the reports you've run, and if you click over here, you can view your report. Now I want to kind of go off on a bit of an aside right here and show you how to save a PDF from the web browser in case you don't know how. Most programs, usually there's a File Save As option up here in the top left hand corner, but you notice that that doesn't exist here. So let me show you the two ways to save a PDF. The first and probably most easiest is to right click on the PDF itself and select Save As from the menu that appears. Go through the save process just like you normally would. The second method would be if you bring your mouse down to the bottom right hand corner, you see that a menu appears, and the option from the right is that an old picture of a floppy disk, and if you click on that, that'll go through the save as process. And like I said, since map testing is web-based, if there's a lot of users accessing the map site at the same time, the reports are going to run slower. And that's why I was diverted to the reports queue, is because the class report was taking a long time to run. But as you see, it only took a minute or two to complete. So let me show you this class report. Like I said, it's very similar to the class breakdown in that it's going to separate your class into the low, low average, average, high average, and high based on their RIT score. So you can see that the 54% were in the low, 19% were in the low average, 23 were in the average, 0 were in the high average, and 4% were in the high. If you scroll down here, and this is the real strength of this report, is that it will further break down your class by the goal areas. Like I said earlier, for each test there are subcategories or goals. And so the Math 6 Plus Common Core has 4 different goal areas. And so this will further inform your instruction because it'll break down your students' map scores by those goal areas. If you scroll further down, you get a more detailed class list, and again I've blanked out the class list for the sake of student privacy, but you're going to be able to see the students' RIT scores, their standard errors, also their test duration. So that's the class report. If you click on the Map Reports link to the left, it will return you to the main Map Reports page. The last report I want to show you is called the Student Goal Setting Worksheet. It's much different than the other reports in that it creates an individualized sheet of paper for each student. And the idea is that the teacher sits down with each student and reviews where their current map score is at, and then the teacher and the student discuss what their future map score should be. So let me show you how to run that Student Goal Setting Worksheet. Again, you have to select Term Rostered, School, Teacher, Class. Now what's different is that at the bottom you're going to get a class list of students with checkboxes. Again, I've blanked them out for the sake of privacy. What you see here is a goal setting worksheet. Now, of course, I've blocked out the student's name and ID number for the sake of privacy, but as you can see, it's got both mathematics and reading. It's got the student's RIT score, and it also has their RIT score broken down into the different goals. This will give the students a good idea about what they need to work on. This is also when you can project with the student what their future RIT score should be. I'd like to briefly return to the reports queue just so we can sum up this video. So if you click on the reports queue, you're going to get a list of all the reports that you've run in the last 14 days. So if you're interested in downloading them to save to your hard drive, to print off, to bring to meetings, this is the way that you can download them. Now you'll notice that the class breakdown report is not on this list, and that's because you can actually download it right from the report window. If you have any questions or you need any help, please feel free to call Tom Boyk at the ESC at 630-293-6000, extension 210. It's a lot easier to get a hold of me via email. My email is boykt@wego33.org.